So hi, we are Carlos, Evan, Jose Eduardo, and Max, and we're going to be talking about what we research about Mexico and Industry 4.0. So basically, we're going to be talking about four different topics. First, the trends in the country regarding this type of industry, Industry 4.0. Then, manufacturing characteristics in Mexico. Then, the path in Mexico that this industry has, the Industry 4.0 or new revolution has had. And finally, a roadmap as to what can come in the future and what are the characteristics right now in the country or at that time that will define this roadmap.
Industry 4.0 has brought forward a new era digitalization. This is relevant for Mexico since it is a country that relies heavily on the manufacturing industry. The adaptation and acceptance of new technologies in Mexico has many deficiencies in many areas that affect directly the integration of new technologies in the industry, which are mostly educational and from innovation.
Here we can see some of the trends that Mexico is developing in order to incorporate to the digital transformation. The first one is the IoT, which we know consists of enabling smart connectivity between devices. And here we can see that the market in Mexico is expected to grow 36% by 2026. Then cloud computing that we know that provides a scalable computing power and storage. And this market is valued at $270 billion. And then e-commerce, which digital platforms use to revolutionize retail. And these commerces are getting driven by AI and data analytics, such as Amazon, which is the most popular one.
Smart automation. It integrates robotics and AI for autonomous decision making in manufacturing and logistics. Robotics adoption in Mexico increased from 4% to 25% in just 10 years. For us, this is a very good technological advance.
And so then we can go now to data analytics, which is also a recent trend that has been growing exponentially, basically because data is very important. And this transforms raw data into actionable insights that gives us more information so that we can have strategic planning. Basically, 73% of companies consider big data essential for decision making, basically that they are informed when they're making.
Okay, so as we are talking about trends, we know that artificial intelligence has been coming growing worldwide. So as we know, AI-driven automation improves efficiency, decision making, and predictive capabilities. Companies leverage AI to enhance customer interactions, manufacturing, and data processing. And as we're talking about trends, we can see that the food industry is leading the way in Mexico by a lot, but we can also see that manufacture of metallic products and manufacture of transportation has been an important trend here in Mexico also.
Well, manufacturing characteristics in Mexico. We have workforce and cost efficiency, key industrial sectors like automotive, aerospace, and electronic. With Industry 4.0 and technology adaptation, we have the increased use of IoT softwares, we have AI, and we have databases. Infrastructure and logistics is one of the well-developed industrial parks and connectivity with ports, highways, and railways, for example.
Okay, sure. So here we have here some examples, like companies like BMW and General Motors have opened plants in Mexico due to lower labor costs compared to the US and Europe.
Next, we have Volkswagen and Ford car manufacturers that have factories here in Mexico, making Mexico the seventh largest car producer globally. And we also have Intel and Samsung that produce semiconductors and electronic components in Mexico, so they can serve the US market and also the international market.
And then we have Tesla, who announced plans to build a gigafactory in Nueva León, which would take Mexico's trade agreements and logistics into its own advantage. And this has taken a few setbacks, but it still brings up a very important topic, which is Mexico's advantage in several markets due to its low prices and also trade agreements. And then we have Siemens and Bosch, who are implementing IoT solutions in their Mexican manufacturing plants to optimize production, which is very important for other plants to start doing it as well. And then we go now into path in Mexico. And here are some key gaps that have been throughout all this path in which IoT and all the Industry 4.0 has been trying to be implemented. Basically, Mexico ranks 13 for 2018 in this manufacturing competitiveness, which is actually pretty good. Not so much for Mexico, which is a really big country and who also is really big in manufacturing, but it's a good ranking. But then it has some deficiencies, which are really important and which can become bigger trouble for us in the future. Basically, Mexico ranks 73rd in technical readiness. Basically, we are not creating new technology for us. We are only adopting other people technologies, other countries' technologies, and we are also, in some cases, not ready to accept this technology and implement it. So basically, we are staying a little bit in the past and we are not advancing into the future. This also goes into the computer access, which only 46.1% of the population has used a computer. In general terms, this doesn't seem like a big problem because we're talking about the industry. But when we compare like the whole country's technological advancements and technological readiness, this is a really big problem because it means that people are not accustomed to using computers and that technology isn't really advanced. And finally, for the talent in Mexico, Mexico has a lot of talent, but for 2014-2015, only 128,427 students completed their studies for this type of job. And also, there is a mismatch between what they do in their workforce and what they learn in the classroom. So this needs to be matched again so that they are more ready for when they go to work from what they learn in school, and it's not just a waste of time.
Okay, so here we can see the path in Mexico from manufacturing process initiatives. So as we know, Intel Interdesign Center in Guadalajara has been a project that has been coming so that Intel invested $170 million, dollars, I think, oh, pesos, in a design center in Zapopan, Jalisco. And human capital is of 1,000 people. Also, here's a collaboration between the industry and schools where Volkswagen and the WAP, with also the Puebla government, has been creating a complex of education, where we can see collaborative space where students and scholars are integrated in manufacturing and mobility programs.
We have then the CIMAT Research Center, where Industry 4.0 has been looked into specifically in robotics, analytics, multidimensional data. Here we have the development of algorithms to enhance the autonomy and efficiency of industrial robots, application of mathematical models to optimize manufacturing processes, use of AI to interpret and extract patterns from industrial data, and implementation of AI for quality inspection of product lines.
Now here we can see some strategies that Mexico could improve in order to align with the Industry 4.0 technology. The first one is to improve education and create more capacited professionals, such as the universities or research centers like Tecnológico de Monterrey. Then we have improve the openness to technology in the country, which means that the industry must be ready to adapt these technologies and not feeling afraid of doing it. Then the third one is to focus and incentivize technological innovation and research in Mexico. We need more professionals that are doing research and testing on these new technologies, so we could do not depend on foreign technology, and we develop our own technologies that suit our needs.
Well, here we have the SWOT analysis. The strengths are that this is the second largest market in LATAM, has automated manufacturing growth, automotive industry as major sector, and competitive prices.
Then going into weaknesses, like as in a general sense, we have low access to internet, like for the general public, defective, innovative environment. Basically, this is not looked into, and basically innovation is practically non-existent or only in some places. Low creation of new technology and misalignment between academy and industry.
In opportunities, we have the increasingly growing demand for new intelligent systems and global competitiveness, which Mexico should include too, in order to um, make our domestic market grow instead of depending on foreign technology.
And at last, we know that the industry have threats that they need to be taken care of. So we know that the priority of technology acquisition over development, data theft, and cybersecurity, other countries with lower production costs. So as we see this, I think it's important to know that other countries also have lower production costs than we have over here. So we probably need to have like a better industry so we can um, we don't lose in industry to countries that are cheaper than ours. And now on our roadmap, we have some strengths that they are in the industry here in Mexico. So number one, manufacturing leadership. Mexico already has world-class capabilities in sectors like automotive and aerospace, giving it a solid foundation to adopt Industry 4.0. On number two, we have geographic advantage. So as we know, we are really near the US and we have a membership in trade agreements that makes it ideal for high-tech manufacturing and exportation. On number three, we have skilled labor force. So we know that there's a growing base of engineers and technical talent capable of operating and adapting to smart manufacturing, which is really important so that the industry can continue to improve with new engineers. On number four, we know about the export infrastructure. So established export routes and custom experience makes it easier to scale industrial operations internationally. And at last, we have the cost efficiency. So as we know, labor and operational costs remain lower than in other industrialized countries, keeping Mexico competitive.
Then we have the weaknesses. We have low R&D and investment. Companies in Mexico spend very little on innovation or tech development, limiting their competitive edge. SME technology gap. Most small businesses haven't adopted digital tools, creating a divide in industrial progress. For example, we have small manufacturing companies in Puebla that still uses manual processing instead of digital tools. And for fragmented ecosystems, collaboration between universities, government, and businesses is weak, which slows down innovation. An example will be universities. Here in Mexico, they produce highly skilled engineers, but due to weak industry partnerships, many graduates struggle to find jobs in innovative tech industries.
Then we have uneven digital access, even in cities. In our country in general, we have rural areas where we don't have internet coverage or data coverage. So there are people that are marginalized and are harder to get into the digital transformation, and also industries that are located outside of the cities and are harder to adapt to these new technologies. Then talent mismatch, where education doesn't align with the industry needs, and for example, their studies are getting more antiquate, they are not updated, so the skills of the graduates are not those demanded by the industry 4.0.
And finally, here we can see a roadmap that was in the document sent to us, which was made by Prosvet and the Secretary for Education. And basically, here are some goals or things that Mexico could reach in the future. Basically, like being a leader in the IoT and Industry 4.0, being a top 5 country in these areas, being a leader in Latin America in design and manufacturing, and also implementing hubs and National Institute for Industry 4.0. But from what we investigated and from what we have seen in other information sources, this has not really happened. Mexico has not been leading this road or leading this path for better success. So basically, what we would need to do, this can still be made, maybe in a longer period of time, but this can still be made. These goals can still be done, but it will take more focus from Mexico, which has of solution, as well as the companies that are based here, implementing more innovation and better designs.
Finally, our conclusions. In my opinion, I think that these technologies are reshaping industries and the way we interact with the world. So mastering these technologies is essential to drive innovation in industry, innovation, and our daily lives. And we also need more proposals coming from the government, private and public industries, such as universities or research centers, in order to master these new innovations and lead to a better industrial automation in our country.
And my conclusion is that Mexico is a bit behind in terms of Industry 4.0. To get on board and be better in it, it needs to be more innovative. Basically, try to implement more technology of their own and try to be better in these types of sense. Try to research more into these technologies and try to implement some of their own and start to think more as to what can I do to make this better and not what can I buy. And also, I think that the whole country needs to be a lot more digitalized and have to have more internet coverage for all and computer access for all.
Well, while Mexico's manufacturing sector is advancing with this industry, there are some challenges remaining. Despite its strategic location and trade agreements, the country still faces infrastructure gaps, energy supply issues, and the need for a more highly trained workforce. This transition to automation and AI is uneven, with smaller manufacturers struggling to adopt new technologies.
And at last, my conclusion. So I think Mexico has a strong potential in Industry 4.0, thanks to its location and industrial base. However, to become a leader in smart manufacturing, it must invest more in innovation, improve education, and strengthen in collaboration between industry and academia. Thank you very much. This is the end.